guys, how are you guys doing? Today was a rainy day. However, now it stopped about an hour ago and now it's kind of sunny outside. But because it was a rainy day, instead of going out, I thought I'd do some cooking today. And today I was planning on making spaghetti bolognese. So the bolognese is the type of sauce that goes on the pasta, of course. And what do we need for that? Well, first of all, I like to say that the bolognese sauce that I'm making might not be the exact recipe that is actually called bolognese, but it comes close to it. So what do we need for it? Let me show you. Here, first of all, of course, butter. We need ground beef, half a kilo, onions, salt, pepper, basil, and mushrooms, and also a regular plain pasta sauce. You know, nothing special, just a regular plain sauce. However, you can also make the tomato sauce yourself, you know, with fresh tomatoes. And yeah, but today I'm gonna use this, it's a can or a glass jar of half a liter. So that would be enough to make this bolognese sauce. So like I say, it's not the real kind of bolognese sauce. The only thing that I am changing actually is the mushrooms. The original bolognese sauce actually should have peppers in it. So, but since I don't really like peppers, I replace it with mushrooms. And so that's the only change that I'm making to it basically. Okay, let's start cooking. First of all, we get our, well, we should cut the onions first. So here we are, I started already cutting the onions, and we like to cut the onions in really small pieces. I don't know if you can see it, but really tiny pieces, because it has to be more or less a liquid sauce, so we don't want to have really big chunks in it, so therefore I'm cutting the onion really small. Next, what we're doing, I have my pot here on the stove here, and I'm gonna put a big chunk of butter in there, something like this, because I want to saute the onions. And there we go. And on a low heat for the moment, and there we go. Here we are, guys. Our onions are cut, and right here, and the butter is melted. So there, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the onions in the pot here. Let me see if I can adjust this camera a little bit so we can see everything we're doing here. There, that should be good. And it looks like I have a lot of onion here. However, I don't think we need everything or all of it in here. I will see when I put it in there. So as you can see, it's a really fine cut. Let's see here, a little bit more. There. That's what we're gonna use. And I'm getting a wooden spoon here to stir it up for a bit. Mix it with the butter. So now we're gonna put the heat a little bit higher. put a lid on it and we let it saute for a while. So our next thing we're gonna do is the ground beef. And we have our frying pan there, same thing. We're gonna put a chunk of butter in there. Something like this. And let it melt, and then we add the ground beef. So as you can see, our butter is melted, and now we're gonna add the ground beef to it. So as you can see, the ground beef is also fairly well mixed actually, because we want to have as small as possible chunks in there. There we go. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah. So here we are. The ground beef is in. And now we're gonna add some salt. And pepper, of course. And we're gonna turn up the heat a little bit because I had turned it down. So there we go. And now we're really gonna work the ground beef in order for it not to get too chunky, you know. So this is what I'm gonna do for the next 10 minutes. Stir it back and forth until it's well cooked. I'm gonna and as you can see, Anna, we're using a wooden spoon because a metal spoon will ruin the frying pan or the pot, especially if it has a coating in there. So there you go. That's what we're doing. Working the meat, you know, back and forth because we want it, and also the heat should not be too high because otherwise it fries too fast and then you get more bigger chunks in there. Okay, let us do this for another 10 minutes probably. As you can see, guys, our meat is as good as ready. And all the time we will have to use the fan a little bit because it's smoke. So as you can see, really tiny pieces. So I was working it with the spoon for the last 10 minutes here, just to make sure I don't have really big chunks in there. And now I'm gonna let it simmer for a bit, for another 5 minutes maybe. And now I'm focusing my attention on the mushrooms because maybe, as you know from my previous cooking video, I like to peel the mushrooms instead of washing them. Because for those who didn't watch that video, I like to peel them because when you wash them they absorb too much water and that makes your sauce too watery. So that's what we're doing next. Mushrooms. So here we have it. Look at this. We have our ground beef ready. We have our mushrooms ready. We'll let the steam out here for a bit. And we have our sauteed onion ready to go. So, right now we're going to mix everything together and add the sauce and then leave it on the stove for another half hour to simmer. So let's add all the stuff together now. Here we have our sauteed mushrooms. I'm going to turn it down a bit for the steam. So, mushrooms go in. There we go, that's that. Then the ground beef goes in. I hope you can see it a little bit because I cannot hold the camera and do this. So here we got everything in, and now we stir the whole thing. Mix it nicely up. So the onion, the mushrooms, the ground beef. There we go. And not to forget, we put in our pasta sauce in at the end. There we go. And again, we stir the whole thing up. And I have to rinse out the jar there with some, usually I use some milk, because milk is always a good additive to a sauce, let me put it that way. So our sauce is as good as ready. I just have to add some basil to it, and then it should be as good as that. So, and for those of us who are familiar with Shakey's, you should check it out. At Shakey's they have a pasta skeletti, it's called, and that's the closest thing to a Bolognese sauce. It looks good on the menu. I never tried it there before, but it's just new. So try it out. That should be the closest thing to Bolognese. It's 240 pesos for that. There you go. Take a look at the sauce here. It's a smooth mixture, you know, of. If you want it a little bit more runny, like I say, you can add some milk. Milk is always a good substitute for. And let's put some basil in there. There. And we mix it up. And there we go. And we let that simmer with the lid on for, like I say, another 20 minutes to half hour. So there is only one thing that we have to do now is cook the spaghetti, the pasta itself. So let's do that. So guys, our water is almost boiling. I got here the pasta ready. It's about this much that I'm boiling. Well, it's just for me and myself, so therefore I don't need too much. Here is the water, almost boiling. Let me get that camera ready. The only thing I need to do still is add some salt in the water. There you go. And add the pasta. So it slowly heats up and it will go in there in one shot instead of breaking it. There you go. Spoon here. There, once that is ready, then we're good to eat. Let's take a look inside of the pot here. Here's our pasta going. Ooh, steam. Our pasta is going, and there is also our sauce going. Ooh, look at that. Sauce is ready actually. There we go. Another couple of minutes for the pasta, and we're ready to eat. There we have it. Pasta is ready. I grated myself some cheese here. Look at this. I grated it really fine, so it melts nicely. So I'm gonna prepare my plate and then I show it to you guys. Look at this, guys. Does this look good? Take another look here. I put some cheese on top of there, you know, and it will melt easily because it's very, very fine grated. So there you go. One last piece of advice. If you want to ruin your pot, just use metal utensils. And if that doesn't work, just drop it to the floor. That will do the trick too.
Like and subscribe!